Board of Commissioners, May 12, 2015. We'd like to open with the Scouts from Troop 2, First United Methodist Church. First United Methodist Church, come forward, followed by the invocation led by myself. The Scouts, come on forward. They are working on their citizenship and community merit badge. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just in the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen. Thank you, gentlemen. First item of business is to approve the agenda. Are there any corrections or amendments?
Hearing none, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Mr. Morris made a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Todd with the second. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 6-0. First item of business is under presentation and delegations. Recognize Amanda Carmichael with the Finance Department as the April 2015 Strongest Link Award recipient. Marcus Schwab, Chief Financial Officer of City Griffin, will address. Good evening, Marcus.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Again, it's a unique opportunity to be before you to present another employee whose distinguished service, dedication to her duties, and to go above and beyond the norm. Amanda's been with us how many years now, Amanda? Come on up. 10 years. And how many times do we change banks now? Third time. So she's been very instrumental in getting that taken care of, and I'm deeply indebted to her services. I'd also like to have Chuck come up and say a few words as well.
Good evening, Chuck.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Jay.
So we're honored that someone outside of the department nominated Amanda. I don't know if it was Laura Stewart. I'm sure you've read the write-up.
Could you get in front of the microphone? I have a couple here.
I'll do that.
Okay.
And the write-up primarily refers to the changing of banks, but in fact, it's her third conversion, and no one in the department is surprised that she got this award. You know, we've known for 10 years now that she excels beyond, does exceptional work. She's been performing at that level since '04, like Marcus said. She came in right after I did. And she also performs as my backup and does, dirty little secret here, a better job than I do. So my hat's off to Amanda. Here's a gift certificate, and here's your plaque. Hang prominently in your wall.
Can we get a quick picture? Is the chain here? Oh, someone's, I think, pawned it. Amanda, thank you so much for your service to the city, and we always enjoy the work and your performance. Thank you. Thank you, Chuck. Next item is a recognition of officers of the Griffin Police Department for the awards received at the annual District Attorney's Banquet held on May 5th, 2015. District Attorney Scott Ballard and Police Chief Steve Heaton will address.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Let me get this thing down here where I can actually talk. Scott couldn't make it tonight. He had a conflict, but Warren Sellers, who's from the DA's office, and Lisa Sproul is here to represent Scott and help us with the awards. We had several employees that received awards last week, and we wanted to make sure that they were recognized. So I'll let Warren take that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioners. My name is Warren Sellers. I'm the Chief Assistant District Attorney in the Griffin Judicial Circuit. That's a 4-county circuit that includes Spalding County as well. Each year, the District Attorney's Office accepts nominations from law enforcement agencies around the circuit for various awards that are given at a banquet. And at this time, I'd like to recognize some of the officers and agencies that received awards this year. It's been a while since we had a Rookie of the Year award. This officer is quite deserving. She began her career on June 26, 2014, and she has the bloodline. Her father's a retired GBI agent. In her short tenure, she's already distinguished herself. On March the 21st, she responded to a fire at an apartment complex and very courageously entered the building while smoke flowed from the windows to notify occupants that they were in danger and help them leave the building. She shows great promise as a law enforcement officer, and her department is already very proud of her. This year, the Rookie of the Year award goes to the Griffin Police Department officer, Emily Blackman.
And smile for the camera.
Law enforcement is most effective when different jurisdictions work together. This next award highlights that accomplishment. Usually wiretap operations are handled by federal agencies. Beginning in the summer of 2013 and continuing for a year and a half thereafter, officers from 2 local agencies undertook the very difficult task and time-consuming job of initiating 2 separate electronic surveillance efforts. The first targeted a criminal operation that stretched from our circuit all the way to South Carolina and involved the distribution of methamphetamine in our circuit. The result was impressive: trafficking charges and seizure of guns, stolen property, and substantial assets. The second targeted a local drug operation. The results were nothing short of phenomenal. Over 80 arrests for cocaine and marijuana distribution crimes. Included were numerous members of the Blood Street Gang and 2 firefighters who were tried in federal court. It's my honor to present the 2015 Teamwork Awards to Griffin police officers Richard Phillips, Pete Spann, and Chardonnay Hurst.
Congratulations.
Next, we recognize heroism with our Heart of a Hero Award. The recipient of this award responded on March the 16th, 2015 at 6:12 p.m. to an emergency call. A house was on fire. When he arrived, smoke was billowing out of the residence. A woman was still inside. Our officer went in, found her, and helped her exit. As she did, she frantically told the officer that her dog and her grandchild were still in the burning house. Our officer went in again and immediately found and retrieved the dog. The child was harder to find. Fighting the smoke, he made his way to the back bedroom and found the child. He cradled the little boy in his arms and carried him to safety. Because he has a heart of a hero, this award goes to a sergeant with the Griffin Police Department, Joe Hudson.
Thank you, Sergeant Hudson.
Each year, we select a law enforcement department within the circuit to be named Agency of the Year. The award's not intended to single out a particular agency and proclaim it the best in the circuit. Such a task would be impossible because every community is unique and the methods of serving and protecting those citizens vary when you cross from one town to the next. Serving in law enforcement requires adaptability. It requires an awareness of the particular needs of the community and the dangers that it faces. With this award, we marvel year after year at how our agencies strive to excel as they wrestle with public safety issues that no other law enforcement would face in a different locale. This year, the award goes to the department that has amazed all of us at the DA's office as it has battled daunting challenges. Murders are all too regular. Drive-by shootings threaten children and entire neighborhoods. Gangs wage war with each other, and drug dealers prey on addicts. Just a year ago, the men and women of this department paid tribute to a fallen brother who was shot and killed while attempting an arrest. So in the face of all this, how have these public servants responded? You've already seen a glimpse of their heroism, rescuing a child in a burning building, taking down 80 gang members in a single sweep, putting the hurt on fat and sassy drug operations and driving them out of town. If you looked closely at this department, you could see these officers at Christmas delivering gifts to children who otherwise would get nothing. You'd see an officer with her arm around a molested child who's terrified to tell what happened. You'd find an officer that's always in Washington, D.C. with hundreds of children. And you'd also see off-duty officers with this department with chainsaws in their hands helping clear debris after a tornado. It's my pleasure to present the 2015 Agency of the Year Award to the Griffin Police Department. Lieutenant Mike Richardson is a detective with the Griffin Police Department. During his 17 years with the Griffin Police Department, he's worked as a patrol officer, a narcotics officer, and now heads the Crimes Against Persons Unit. He's worked there as a law enforcement officer for 17 years. Last year, Lieutenant Richardson was personally assigned over 200 cases. These involve murders, rapes, aggravated assaults, armed robberies, gangs, runaway juveniles, domestic violence incidents, and other violent crimes. This doesn't include the hundreds of other cases that he helps other officers with, the murders he helps investigate that are not assigned to him, the reports he has to approve, the meetings he must attend, the court appearances he must make, the training of new officers, and the trial preparation he must undergo. Regardless of the volume or the difficulty, he always gives 100%. Why does he give such a tremendous effort to the job? His faith in God must cause him to love helping others and to place his love and care for others above that of himself. This is seen in the love of his wife, Stephanie, and their 4 children. It's also seen in the care he shows for his coworkers. It's especially evidence in the care he shows for the victims of crime. Assistant District Attorney Marie Broder says this: Lieutenant Richardson truly makes a difference in the world by the compassionate way he speaks to victims, by the methodical and tireless investigating of cases in order to bring justice to the world around him, by never giving up hope that this world will be a better place and fighting for that hope. She recognizes that the job takes its toll on all of us and that violence is sometimes so much that we feel overwhelmed by the evil and negativity in the world. Lieutenant Richardson must sometimes feel this discouragement, but if he does, it never shows. He's always positive, always upbeat, and ready for the next challenge. Ms. Broder concludes that in a struggle between good and evil, it's nice to know that good has Lieutenant Richardson on its side. Lieutenant Richardson's been married to his wife Stephanie since 1997. They have 3 boys, ages 15, 12, and 9, and a girl 5. This year's Law Enforcement Officer of the Year goes to Lieutenant Mike Richardson.
If we could have all the officers come forward, please. If y'all could all stand up and face the audience in the line, dressed right dress. These folks do what they do for the love of Griffin and this community. We appreciate it. Thank you, folks. Mr. Sellers, thank you so much for the time and the compassion you have for our community and recognition of these officers, what they do.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you giving me the time.
Thank you. Next item is to consider a proclamation for May 10 through May 16, 2015 as the City of Griffin Police Week to coincide with the National Police Week. The day of May 15, 2015 as Peace Officers Memorial Day. Police Chief Steve Heaton will address. We have a motion to consider the proclamation.
Chairman, my second.
We have a motion by Ms. Todd, second by Mr. Morrow. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. All right. All right. Proclamation, Police Week and Peace Officers Memorial Day. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day in the week in which it falls as Police Week. And whereas the 84 certified police officers of the City of Griffin, Georgia, play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedom of the citizens of Griffin. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their law enforcement agencies, and that the members of those departments recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression and intimidation. And whereas the Police Department of the City of Griffin has grown to be a modern and scientific law enforcement agency which unceasingly provides a vital and dependable public service, now therefore be it resolved by the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 15th, 2015 as Griffin Police Officers Memorial Day, and the entire week surrounding May 10th through 16, 2015 as Griffin Police Week. The City of Griffin urges all citizens and patriotic civic and educational organizations to pause and reflect on the contributions of police officers and to observe Griffin Police Week with the appropriate ceremonies that all may join in commemorating police officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered and dedicated service to this community, thereby establishing for themselves an inviolable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of our citizens. We further call upon the citizens of Griffin to observe Friday, May 15, 2015 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in tribute to those peace officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives and have become disabled in the performance of the duty. National statistics show that 140 to 160 police officers lose their lives each year in the line of duty. The City of Griffin so directs that the United States flag shall be flown at half-staff on its governmental buildings in memory of those brave officers. Theirs is an indelible legacy fixed in the collective memory, and we are grateful for their service. We hereby declare that a copy of this proclamation be spread upon the minutes of the board's proceedings, reflecting that I, as chairman, have hereunto caused the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed to this, the 12th day of May in the year of our Lord 2015. Signed, Douglas S. Holberg, Chairman, and Kenny L. Smith, City Manager. Thank you for your service, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to let you know that almost a year ago today, we lost one of our officers, as you remember, Kevin Jordan. This year at the memorial, it'll be both, it's a bittersweet moment for us. We have two officers that are up in D.C. They've accompanied the family there for the ceremony throughout the week. I know I met with the family last week in preparation for them to leave. They were very, very happy to be able to go. We hope that they will enjoy the week, but it was also a week for them to reflect on the loss of their loved one. Two of the members that went was Curtis Keys, who was Kevin's lieutenant and shift commander, and Drew Jackson, who was an officer who worked side by side with Kevin. So we were very, very excited we were able to send somebody, actually 2 folks, and they will accompany the family throughout the week and recognize Kevin in Washington. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Ethan. Appreciate your service. Next item is to consider proclamation declaring the week of May 17th through 23rd, 2015 to be National Public Works Week and Public Works Week in the City of Griffin. Public Works and Utilities Director Brent Keller will address. We have a motion. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the proclamation.
Second.
Mr. Morrow with the motion, second by Mr. McCord. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. 7-0. Ms. Cynthia Reed Ward will present the proclamation.
Good evening, Dr. Keller.
A proclamation, National Public Work Week, Public Works Week in the City of Griffin. Whereas the infrastructure, facility, and services that are collectively known as public works are of vital importance to sustainable communities and to the health, safety, and well-being of the people of the City of Griffin, thereby contributing immeasurably to our citizens' quality of life. And whereas such facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated effort of public work professionals, engineers, managers, and employees from state and local units of government and the private sector who are responsible for and must plan, design, build, operate, and maintain the transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential to serve our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children of Griffin, our state, and our nation to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest in the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2015, from May 17th to 23rd, marks the 55th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Through National Public Work Week and other efforts, the American Public Works Association seeks to raise the public awareness of public work issues and to increase confidence in and an appreciation for public work employees who are dedicated to improving our quality of life for not only present but for future generations. Be it now resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the City of Griffin does hereby declare that this proclamation be spread upon the minutes of the city's Board of Commissioners meeting, and that its official seal be affixed, designating the week of May 17th through 23rd, 2015, to be National Public Works Week and Public Works Week in the City of Griffin. And we urge all Griffin citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association, as well as local and state government agencies, in activities and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to our national health, safety, welfare, and quality of life. In witness whereof, on this, the 12th day of May, in the year of our Lord, 2015, Douglas S. Holberg, Chairman, Kenny L. Smith, City Manager.
I can't believe they had the word "fligged" in there. Is that the word of the day? Fligged and all that. Congratulations, Dr. Keller. Appreciate all the work your team does to make our community a better place to live. Next item is review financials for March 2015. Chief Financial Officer Marcus Schwab will address. Welcome back, sir.
Good evening once again.
Tell us all the good, bad, and ugly.
The good news is there's cash in the bank.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
The bad news is we have to pay that money out for the bills that we incurred. So, any questions on the cash balance report?
No, it tracks.
All right. Next item, the local option sales tax report. Any questions on that document? We also included a copy of the the annual report and status as of April 15th, as provided by Dr. Keller on the specific SPLOST projects, if you have any questions on that. Okay, we also have the interim statements by fund.
Couple of things caught my eye going through them.
Yes, sir.
The franchise fees are down significantly, and I assume that's fairly stable.
Yes.
Is this a timing issue?
Yes,
Is
sir.
there something we don't know?
Yes, sir. No, it's timing issues. Yes, sir.
And the other thing, you might notice a little math in our building permits, all that.
Mm-hmm.
We're over budget, but your spreadsheet shows under, so we're doing well there. Building permits and stuff are up.
The
Bracket.
signs are flipped around on the building permits because it's to the good, it's a variance to the good.
Okay, so it's a negative, that's right. I didn't think
Correct.
It's a revenue.
Correct.
I got you. Never
So
mind.
if the revenues, if you had 100 and you came up with 140, it's going to show it the other way around.
I got
We
you.
changed the signs,
Well, we're over budget.
revenue
which
versus
is good.
expense. Yes, sir.
That's it.
Okay.
Everything else sort of tracks.
All right. If you'd like to have discussion on the general fund status report, that's in there, as well as included a document for the 2015 Federal Outlook from the Government Finance Review. That's a publication that we receive, and I've included a copy of that article in your packets, if you have any
There's
questions.
a little bit of hope in that this time.
I'm sorry, say
A
again?
little hope.
Yes, sir.
A little hope.
Absolutely.
Economy's slowly crawling for better.
Well, there are signs in the market. There is one thing, though, that's concerning. That is the 10-year Treasury has creeped up to its highest point in the last 8 years. So we're eyeing that closely. We're going to make some modifications to the portfolio here shortly.
Any other questions? We appreciate your team's efforts, and thank you.
Thank you.
This time, we have citizens' comment. The chairperson opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for public hearing or to the concern within the jurisdiction of the city commission meeting, serve as a purpose of conducting city business, or are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff. So before we get to Mr. Jones and the Kiwanis Club, is there anybody on my left side that would like to come before the board? Is there anybody on my left side? Is there anybody on my right side like to come before the board? Comments? Okay, with that being said, item 6 is Ralph Jones requested to address the commission on behalf of the Griffin Kiwanis Club regarding the Kiwanis Fairgrounds. Mr. Jones, please state your name and address for the record.
Ralph Jones, 620 Maddox Road.
Good evening, sir. Welcome.
I'm here representing the Kiwanis Club, the Kiwanis Fair Association, and the citizens of Griffin and Spalding County. Our mission is to save the Kiwanis Fairgrounds property for future generations. This is not just about saving the fair. Yes, the fair is our major fundraiser, that which since 1977 has returned over $2.5 million to community charities. Yes, without the fair, the Kiwanis Club could no longer serve as we have in the past 75 years. And if we're forced to bear the total burden of purchasing the property, we will not be able to serve our many charities in the future. In my email to you, I listed many of the other groups that use and benefit from the Kiwanis Fairgrounds property. 10 years ago, you entered into a 30-year lease with the Kiwanis Fair Association that encouraged more investment in the property by Kiwanis. I know that all of you have been to events at the Kiwanis of Griffin Center. I remember when Dick Morrow spoke at a noon lunch meeting and thanked Kiwanis for building the center. By your proclamation in January of this year, you congratulated Kiwanis for 75 years of service to Griffin and Spalding County. In the last 2 weeks, there have been 5 positive front-page Griffin Daily News articles that all related to the fairgrounds. And you know Griffin needs positive news. In 1934, The city and county paid $6,860 for the entire 200-acre airport property. In 1949, the Kiwanis Club began sponsoring the Spalding County Fair on this property. In 1979, the city received a grant for airport improvement of $29,942 from the FAA, which began our obligation of the property to the FAA. Spalding County's tax appraisers believe the 28 acres with which Kiwanis has been entrusted will appraise at about $400,000, maybe less. The Kiwanis Fair Association feels that the lease agreement of 2005 is ambiguous at best. And understandably, this board believes taxpayers do not want to spend tax dollars on this property. My question to this board, what will it take to convince the city to participate in the purchase of the Kiwanis Fairgrounds property? I propose the city add Kiwanis Fairgrounds to the appraisal that you're planning to have done. Kiwanis will kick in $100,000 towards the purchase. The city will pay the remainder in the form of payments to the airport authority of about $60,000 a year for the next 5 years. FAA is satisfied, and the Kiwanis Fairgrounds are saved for future generations of community activities. The mission statement of the City of Griffin begins, "In partnership with our community." We, the people, would like to continue that partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Is there anybody else on behalf of the Kiwanis Club want to make a statement? I think this board is open to discussion with the Kiwanis Club. I know I've got a passion about the mountain bike trail area. You look at the green space of the grass strip as potential I see as recreational fields and things. So as we move through this process and hopefully see where the counties, the Airport Road Park, the hangar, where those values kind of gives us a basis of what we're looking at for the entire property, and that as we move forward, that we all work together to come up with a plan that will benefit all organizations and all citizens in the Griffin. Does anybody have any other comments they'd like to?
Well, I do, and I think just so that there's no misunderstanding, there's a gratuities clause in the Georgia Constitution about using public money to benefit private organizations. I've asked our attorney to address that in just a minute, just to make sure that there's no misunderstanding on that point.
You're correct. The Georgia Constitution does prohibit the expenditure of public monies for any private benefit or private concern, which would include nonprofit organizations and charitable organizations. These are not governmental entities, and basically public money can only be spent for governmental purposes unless it's in payment for services to the recipient. So we've had to, in some cases, work around things like with our Welcome Center, we've paid for some services that the Chamber of Commerce provides, and also provides the service of keeping that facility open for us down there. But you can't just give public money to an organization who may do wonderful things like Kiwanis does here in Spalding County. I think we all recognize that. But this is something that's bigger than that. It affects the state itself and all of the state's local government entities.
Okay, you want to, I guess folks want to hear again what you said.
Old folks can't hear. Well, just to be, can you hear that any better? What's that? All right. Just to say one more time, the Georgia Constitution does have a gratuities clause which prohibits the expenditure of public monies on any private purpose or private benefit. Basically, public monies have to be spent for public purpose, and that would be a prohibition against paying monies for the benefit of a private person such as Ralph Jones or for a private organization such as the Kiwanis Club. It's a non-profit organization, but it's still not a government operation.
Well, I'm sorry.
what I'd like for, tonight, we're not gonna solve this, but if, depending on when the county's appraisals come in on the other land, either the May 26th or June 23rd workshop meeting, Mr. Smith, if we'll put that on an item that we can have further discussion as we move forward with this, if that's okay.
Can I clarify one thing?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
I don't want the city to buy it for Kiwanis. I want the city to buy it for the city. It's still gonna be public property. Has been for 65 years of us being there with the fair. Everybody in town uses it. Got the Relay for Life will be out there this weekend. I mean, there's something all the time going on out there. It's not Kiwanis property, it's city property. Belongs to the people.
It is city property, and that tract happens to be titled solely of the city, where most of that property is titled in the city and the county. Now, we came to find out that it was part of the property that was pledged to the FAA, which is really like a mortgage on that property. And that obligation follows through, and that obligation will actually transfer to a new airport if the property has not been sold or disposed of first. I assume if it's ever declared non-essential, and that never has happened to my knowledge yet, has it, Dick?
It has been approved verbally pending proper paperwork.
Okay. We haven't seen the final approval
We've
on
had
that.
understanding with GDOT-FA that it can be declared non-essential if the application and the process goes through. And of course, it's no longer entitled in the city's name.
Well, that's correct. It was conveyed over to the airport authority as part of the new airport budget.
Was the park and the walking track, and a hangar, was that pledged also as,
Yes.
so it would be the same situation as Kiwanis?
Yes, the county has moved ahead to purchase those pieces, and they've gone through the process and are paying the money for the appraisal to buy them. So the county, we also have a verbal approval for that to be declared non-essential. So they're in the process of buying their pieces.
Any other questions from the board? If it's okay with the board, we look at having part of our workshop discussion as we get clear values on what the airport road park is gonna run. That sounds good. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Kiwanis Club. All right, next item of business is public hearing. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comment on specific advertised issues such as rezoning, ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the City Commission. Tonight, we're going to receive comments regarding a request for a special use permit to allow an adult daycare center to operate at 127 West Solomon Street, submitted by Cambridge House Enrichment Center, Plan Development Director Toussaint Kirk will address. Good evening, Toussaint.
Good evening.
Welcome.
The applicant, Cambridge House Enrichment Center Incorporated of Newnan, Georgia, has applied for a special use permit at 127 West Solomon Street to operate an adult daycare. Can you hear me now? Okay. According to the land use table, special use permit is required since the property is located in the central business district. Again, according to the applicant, the adult daycare center is a 1,500 square foot facility that will be used for daytime social and therapeutic programming for senior adults 65 and older, and will accommodate approximately 10 to 12 clients and 2 to 3 staff persons. They plan to operate between Monday and Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I guess back in 2009 or so, the Town Center LCI study showed that the core downtown commercial district is designated for shopping and recreation, with residential housing located above the ground level retail space. With that being said, use could potentially be denied based on the incompatibility with the future land uses intended for the area, but because the property is zoned CBD, which does permit a licensed daycare center, nurseries, adult daycares, private schools as special uses, planning staff recommends approval with the following conditions. Condition being one, that the maximum occupancy is based on the formula contained within the statewide minimum building codes, also fire and life safety compliance be based on the inspection, and also that they register with the City of Griffin occupational tax permit.
Any questions?
I would like to know how they're going to adjust, how they're going to make it a pleasant atmosphere for senior citizens in a storefront downtown. I cannot for the life of me think that they're going to sit there all day watching TV while they're being babysat or something like that in a downtown area that has no aesthetic values that they could enjoy outside other than a sidewalk.
Yes, ma'am.
That just is foreign to me.
that may be something I'll discuss with Bob.
Good evening. Would the applicant like to come address the board? The applicant here?
I don't think she is.
Okay.
I mean, that's
I'm
a
with
good
you.
question.
Huh?
I'm with you.
Yeah, I just don't understand how that someone would be willing to house senior adults downtown in a storefront building that has no aesthetic value for them whatsoever and charge money for them to be there. That just blows my mind, and it embarrasses me that someone would want to hurt senior citizens in that manner.
I guess I have a little problem with the tortured way you got to approval when all we've talked about is recreation, dining and entertainment downtown and the potential overlay for that. And yet through this tortured, well, it is part of CBD. It could be that you got to the approval. It sounded to me like you sort of did it in a strange way and not voluntarily. I don't quite understand all that.
Well, based off the
Can I
zoning.
address that?
Yeah,
Yes, okay, there you go.
please.
Well, in this zoning district, that is a use that's approved for property within the district. However, it's a permitted use provided you get a special use permit. Now, that is a use that requires some extra discretion and consideration. Generally parking. But once an applicant meets the requirements for the special use permit, they're entitled to the use. It's just like an alcohol license. If somebody meets the criteria to get an alcohol license, we can't deny them that without violating their constitutional rights. And that's the same situation we have here. The application that Toussaint showed to me is going to use the rear parking lot for the entrance and exit. They're coming in off the Slayton Street side with all their cars parked in the rear. They're not taking up parking along Solomon Street. They're not using the front door to enter and exit the building. They're simply taking a building that currently is sitting vacant and putting it to an economic use. A taking occurs when you deny a viable economic use of property. So that's where you're confronted with this. Either you grant it because they've met the requirements for it, or you deny it and run the risk of being sued on it.
The only question I have is, as it pertains to us doing the entertainment overlay, does this prevent any of that, or?
Will it prevent? We're working to, encourage those places to go other locations within CBD, just not in the core downtown.
Okay.
So potentially, yes.
Any other questions from the board? This is a public hearing. Is there anybody that would like to come before the board? Please come before and state your name and your address for the record. Good evening, Mr. Castillo.
David Castile, 705 Woodland Drive. And I'm here as a very disturbed private citizen. It has nothing to do with my seat on the zoning board. I am here on twofold purposes on this. One is I'm probably one of the oldest people in here, if not the oldest. And I remember a vibrant downtown. I remember a downtown that I could walk the streets as a child, and I had to be careful or I'd get stepped on because the streets were so full of people. The sidewalks, that is, not the street. And I'd like to see some of that return. There seem to be a lot of people that have a problem with this as it was reported at least in the Griffin Daily News, and it got me so upset that I was here 2 weeks early trying to talk about this. But they seem to be concerned about the image. I want to ask you, what's the worst image? Is the worst image the use of a building with a discrete sign and the majority, if not all, of the clientele coming and going from a rear entrance on Slayton Street? Or a building that would be eventually, because the landlord or the owner, however you want to refer to him, has no income from this building, he can no longer afford the upkeep, and it winds up like the Imperial Theater did. Now it's a pocket park, or like the building down on West Broad Street, you look in the front window and look up and see the sky. Which presents the best image? I think the building should be used. I think we got to do what we can to get who we can. We got to crawl before we can walk on this downtown thing. I think we need, anytime we have someone wanting to use one of our buildings downtown for a decent and respectable use, I think it should be used. There was concern about the conflict between an entertainment district and these folks. I believe the statement was that this would be an 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 or something daytime use. There's not much entertainment goes on during those hours, is there? So I think that kind of negates that worry. Now, my other reason for being involved in this is much, much more personal. And that is my experience with my own late departed mother. The last 4.5 years of her life, she had to have 24/7 care. Somebody had to be with her all the time. And this was to protect her from her own problems. And Mother had a substantial estate, and luckily we were able through the laws of this state of Georgia to use part of her estate to be sure that she was comfortable in her own home rather than having to be put in a nursing home she didn't want to be in. She wanted to spend her life with her things and her own. She didn't want to go anywhere else. I'm the only sibling, the only child that lives in Griffin. The burden was on me to see that this happened. And I was lucky by having good people who were willing to work, good people who were willing to see that there was always someone there. And I didn't have to do a lot of it. As it was still very fortunate that when all of this happened, it was time for me to retire. And gave me a little time to do something. I don't know what I would have done if Mother hadn't had an estate that could help, and I don't know what I would have done if I had to see for every one of Mother's needs day in and day out. People that are in that circumstance, they need somewhere to take these people, their loved ones that they want to care for. They need somewhere to take those people and give themselves a bit of respite while at the same time ensuring that they're taken care of. And I'd like for you to think about that. Think about people in your own life. Think about your loved ones. And think about the position you'd be in if you got in that situation before you listen to people who are worried about an image. Folks, we have an image, and it's not one that we like. We need to change it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castile. Is there anybody else that'd like to come before the Board of Commission? Anybody else? The only comment I'd like to make is I think our community at times settles for activities or entity that is other communities would not accept. And I remember talking with this applicant a couple months ago, and my understanding is from Noonan, and I asked her point blank, would Mayor Brady be excited about having this in their downtown? And I think at some point we've got to draw a line in the sand and say what we want the image of our community to be. And so for that being said, and that the applicant's not even here to defend her case, I won't be supporting this effort. Any other questions or comments?
Ditto.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kirk. Moving on to regular agenda. Consent agenda. Consider approval of minutes of the April 20th, 2015 Board of Commissioners regular scheduled meeting and workshop.
Chairman, there's no objection. I move we approve the consent agenda as posted.
We have a motion from Mr. Morrow. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Todd. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. It's 7-0. Moving to the regular agenda, consider a request for a special use permit to allow an adult daycare center to operate at 127 West Solomon Street, submitted by Cambridge House Enrichment Center. What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion.
I move to deny.
We have motion denied by Ms. Todd,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Morrow. Any discussion or comments?
I'll chime in as well, because the settling comment actually is exactly what I was thinking about. We can talk about an empty building.
Mike, please.
As far as the settling goes, we can talk about an empty building, and we can talk about, at a very basic level of why have an empty building sitting there when you can have something in it. And if we're gonna talk about the vibrancy of downtown, I'm not quite sure people dropping off their adult or their parents into this facility exactly adds to the vibrancy of that downtown of the past days. We talk about the parking, but we've kind of been learning some lessons recently about what people say they'll do versus what they actually do when it comes to parking. They say they'll do it in the back entrance, and that they'll use the back parking, and then next thing you know, we got the business complaints of all the parking spaces being taken up in the other areas. So even beyond just this particular business, I'm concerned about other things on that street as well, so I'm not going to be there for it either.
My concern is the fact that it doesn't seem to be an ideal situation. Daycares are monitored, and I think they have a limit as to how many people they can have. I'd like to know that adult daycare for elderly people is also investigated and held to a standard. I can't think of anything worse than dropping off an adult to sit in a building downtown watching TV just so that person can be watched, with nothing offered to that person except a concrete back entrance to be dropped off, and then maybe a window in the front to look out of if they even have an opportunity to do that. Downtown is not the proper place for a daycare, in my estimation. I have no reason to support this.
But I guess I want to speak up in favor, because I favor what the law says, and if they have passed everything that is, I don't like bait shops, but if somebody want to put one somewhere and they meet all the requirements to do so, then by law, as an elected official, I'm supposed to grant them that opportunity to conduct their business. So it depends on whether I like it or not. I think I have to put that to the side and think about the different people and their opinion. If someone wants to put a daycare, a church, whatever it is downtown, and use that, and they have the approval, they've met all of the requirements, I don't see why or how I could go against it and be in good faith of the taxpayers' money. So even though we may disagree on that, but I have to be one that would support because they have met what they're supposed to do.
You didn't say this one thing. I think Mr. Kirk needs to get adult daycare center out of the CBD zone.
Okay. Any other comments? We have a motion and a second. All in favor of denial, please raise your hand. All against the motion. 4-3. It's Ms. Todd, Holberg, Morrow, and McLemore. 4. Moving to item 10, consider lifting from the table the dismissal of a request for a variance from section 708 medium density residential of the City of Griffin Unified Development Code to subdivide a lot, creating a non-conforming lot properly located at 728 East Tenzin Street, 228 Morris Street, submitted by Russell Johnson, and postponed from the April 20, 2015 Commissioners meeting. Do we have a motion to lift from table?
So moved.
We have a motion from Mr. Morrow.
Second.
Second from Ms. Todd. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. It is my understanding that this item has 1989.
Yes,
Approved
sir.
for being recorded.
Yes, sir. The original plat that we had was not recorded, but with further research, we have found that there was a plat recorded July the 12th of 1989 showing that the lot was split into 2 lots.
Do we need a motion to do that, or can we just simply dismiss it? Are you dismissing it?
I think Mr. Kirk should just dismiss it.
Okay.
All
Very
right,
well.
good.
Thank you very
So
much.
do it. Thanks.
Item 11, consider a first reading of ordinance amending the Code of Griffin, Chapter 90, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 3, Speed Zones to update the speed zone schedules.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move we approve, but I do want to have a
Mr.
question.
Morrow made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. McLemore.
What has changed? I was trying to compare the apples and stuff, but I got a little confused through all that.
Yeah, what has changed is we removed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 locations in the speed zone that were not in the city anyway, that we could not enforce. They were in the previous schedule. I don't know how they got in there, but we went out and checked those areas. We cannot operate radar in those areas anyway, so DOT just simply updated that and removed them from the list.
Okay, so we didn't do anything other than delete
Places that we can't run radar in the first place.
Any
I
other
understand.
questions? Got a motion and a second. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Thank you, Chief. Consider a contract with PKF Consulting USA to conduct a feasibility study for the downtown hotel and convention center development. Councilman Hayes will address. Good evening, Mr. Hayes.
Evening, Kim.
Good evening. This is been a long time in the going for us to initiate the hotel feasibility conference center feasibility study. PKF was the consultant that the evaluation team chose. They are come highly recommended from some developers that we know, and they had the best proposal. And according to the memorandum of understanding that you guys approved of last month, this will be co-shared with the Industrial Development Authority and Spalding County.
Are we the first to approve?
Yes, sir.
I move we approve.
Second. Motion from Mr. Morris, second from Mr. McCord.
Could you include in that motion, there's not a budget amendment attached, that we had recommended, since that was not budgeted to come out of the commission contingency?
Okay. Mr.
Would you
Morrow.
add to that motion a
I-
budget amendment for that?
I would amend my motion to include that the money for that come out of the commissioner's contingency budget if my second approved.
Second. Got a motion and a second. And looking at several of the references in terms, you could see where communities have moved forward and other communities basically took a reality check from their report, and
Yes, sir.
it was very informative. So
Yes, sir.
excited about the company's perspective. Any other comments? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Congratulations. Thank you. Consider a contract with Preservation South LLC to conduct an existing conditions report for historic City Hall. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is a study really in preparation for if the county does call for a SPLOST. I know previously the historic City Hall was on the projected list, and that quote that I received was from a local architect company. They did not have an opportunity to really get into the details of what it cost, so with some additional time, this consultant who specializes in historic preservation and scheduling and the requirements of the Secretary of Interior, I would like for them to go and look at that a little bit more in depth. So I think I can drastically reduce the cost of what it would take to renovate the building with their detailed findings.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I just have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Whatever happened to the roof? We had talked
right,
about
that's what I said, same thing.
doing
We put money in FY16 budget for replacement.
You
Okay.
did? Good.
Yes, ma'am.
that's it.
Okay. Any other questions?
In that case, I move we approve the contract with the
Mr. Morrow made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Flowers? Any more discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 14, consider approval of a tiered distribution generation tariff for customers in all areas served by the City of Griffin Electric Department. Electric Department, Bill Bosch will address. Good evening, Mr. Bill.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We're here for questions, and I couldn't think of a better subject to break in my new operations manager. So if you have any questions, I'd like to introduce Sabrina Milner to assist me on this.
Yes.
Great. We discussed this tariff at the morning workshop a couple weeks ago,
Yes,
a
sir.
month ago, and understanding the reality of as solar gets plugged in, making sure everyone gets to pay their fair share to the overall cost of running government.
Let me confirm this tiered approach you took rather than all of it. The first, I forget, 77 kilowatts or whatever it is that's permitted now under the state law, basically the first permitted group is home free. They don't have any charge.
Yes, sir.
Above and beyond that this steps in.
Right.
So we left the first group.
By law, we're required to take the first 177 kW. We know that future lobbyists will go after this part of the law, so we wanted to make sure that there's a number of cities that will be adopting this same three-tiered, so it was widely accepted by other cities. So we're I think we just need to be responsible, and that's why I set it up this way as far as the three tiers.
Any other questions? Pleasure of the board.
I move we approve the tiered distribution.
Mr. Martin
tariff.
made a motion.
Second.
Second by Ms. Todd. All in favor, signal raise your hand. 7-0.
Why do you mind introducing us to Sabrina Milner?
I was going to let you get through the next one, and I'll bring her up.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, appoint one voting delegate and one alternate to represent the City of Griffin at the annual MEAG meeting, the board election, July 14, 2015. Electric Director Bill Bosch will address. So we need to elect a voting member or alternate, or delegate and an alternate.
Yes.
From the board.
Historically, Mrs. Todd has assisted me in the voting, and I've been the alternate, but we need to send our voting delegate in, so it would be what's the pleasure of the board, please.
Anybody else? I plan to go on the meeting.
Yeah, we need to know who all's planning to go so we can bring that information back to the next meeting and get the travel.
So do we make nominations for?
Well, are you planning to go this year? I
I'd
don't.
like to nominate someone else.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a motion to close nominations?
I didn't hear who nominated, but I'll make
Ms.
the motion.
Todd?
Oh, okay.
We got a motion from Mr. Morrow to close nominations. Do we have a second? Mr. McCord, second. Okay, all in favor of Ms. Todd being as our delegate, please raise your hand.
Thank you.
And next item, do we have a motion for an alternate?
I nominate Mr. Bosch as our alternate.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Mr. Morrow, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Todd, any discussion? All in favor, closing nominations, raise your hand. All right, is that easy enough, sir?
Yes, sir.
So
Thank
Ms.
you very
Todd
much.
and yourself as alternate.
Thank you. I'll
Thank
go
y'all
ahead
for
and
willing
fill
to
that
serve.
out and get that sent in. And if I may take,
Three people planning on going, correct? Ms. Todd, Chairman over and Phil.
I'm not.
We can make those plans.
I think I say and run the city.
It's July. City shuts down, doesn't it?
Actually, we are.
And that's on the agenda, that particular meeting. Go ahead, Mr. Bosch, I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to bring up Sabrina for a second, and thank you for the liberty to do this during an agenda. You know, a couple months ago, we started a search, and I've worked with Sabrina for 6 years now, and I feel very blessed and excited about this chapter in her life, and then also starts a chapter in mine. So I'd like to introduce Sabrina Milner, our new marketing and ops manager. Is going to be working very heavily in our key accounts, marketing. Be careful what you wish for, dear. Miss Sabrina Milner.
Yell power.
Well, I wasn't planning to make a speech, but I'm very grateful. I'm on the heels of 16 years of serving the City of Griffin, all in the electric department, and I have great hopes and expectations of continued success with the city, so thank you.
Sabrina, we are so thrilled with his selecting you. It's
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Proud of you. Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, Bill. All right, item 16, consider approval of a budget amendment and resolution for the Stormwater Utility Department on the Public Works and Utilities Department in the amount of $25,000 used for the cost of additional material for the stormwater drainage system.
Move we approve?
Ms. Todd makes a motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Morrow. Any discussion? Please signal by raising your hand if you're in support. 7-0. Thank you, Dr. Keller. Item 7, consider approval of a budget amendment resolution reallocating funds for the settlement of rights of way for the Steel Branch Regional Reservoir of the Water and Wastewater Department of the Public Works and Utilities Department in the amount of $20,400. Dr. Keller will address.
This is, if I understand, this is for the new intersection construction there at Rovers Atella.
That's the next one. This is the settlement we had with the with the Mace case and the
Oh,
McCall.
never mind.
We're paying
One
for the
off here.
fees.
I make a motion to approve.
I'm sorry.
We have a motion from Mr. McCord, second by Ms. Ward. Any more discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 18, consider approval of an easement limited agreement for GDOT project STP 00-0000-00, parentheses 410, Spalding, for the intersection of Subroute 362 at CR 507, Rovers and Hill Road, Moreland Road, in Spalding County for the Water and Wastewater Department, the Public Works and Utilities Department.
15 years I know I've been involved in this thing. We're finally getting ready to do it, no?
Yes, sir.
Do we have a motion?
This is the last piece of the
So
puzzle.
moved.
Mr. Morrow, second Ms. Todd. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 19, consider the option for the city pool for 2015. Dr. Keller will address.
Have the opportunity to bring you up to par on what's happening with the pool. As of today, we have 3.5 lifeguards. We need 8. And we've got 4 applicants that are in the mix that are supposedly going to certification to become certified lifeguards so that they can work at the pool. If that happens, then we'll be able to open the pool as normal. We'll probably have a delay in opening the pool anyways because they will not receive their certification until the end of May. So that opportunity is that we may not be opening the pool this year. There's a couple other options on the board that I've been asked to explore. One of the options is to look at a season pool pass for individuals. It would be for 2 months, $50 a month. There would be a daily fee charged at $3 per person in order to offset the cost, and I'll explain to you the cost in a minute. Under that option also, if an individual was tagged 3 times for behavioral problems similar to what we had last year or less, they would be asked not to come back to the pool in the 2015 swimming season, and there'd be no free use of the pool anymore. That was a particular option. The pool's open 61 days this year, or potentially could be. The use in 2015, the cost of operation, if you look strictly at cost for the budgeted purpose of the entire budget, is $82,400. The hard cost involved outside of labor and interdepartment costs are $25,000 in operation supplies, contractual services, chemicals, or those type of associated activities with the pool. That is one option open for discussion this evening. The other option is we've had the Gator swim team has offered, if the pool doesn't open, to give the city of Griffin $6,000 in return for its swimming season and probably some use in August. As I said today, we've got 3.5 lifeguards. We cannot operate with that. We have to have 5 due to vacations, people quitting, and what have you. So I guess what I'm trying to do today is give you an update on this, and I need some feedback because obviously this isn't my call of how the pool's going to be operated. I'm in charge of operating it. So if I could have your feedback or questions or what have you, if I could help you, I'm here to answer those questions.
Is the pool ready? In other words,
we're good to go.
We're good to go, and it's cost us so far about $100,000. The $82,400 $400.
That will be our operation budget for the upcoming year. We're basically right around
Right,
that
yeah.
area. Every year, we're between $76,000 and $82,000 a year for those 60-some-odd days of operation.
You know, well, what I was thinking about, it's difficult and I love the swim team, and you know I have fought for this swimming pool every year I've been on the board. But if we put out this much money and the responsibility lies on us, I can't see where $6,000 will be much of an offset for a limited amount of people, since it is a public pool. I just don't know.
I understand. I'm just giving you what's on the table.
Right.
Do they pay us a fee for the pool?
Yes, ma'am. They pay a minimum fee of $600 a month to use the swimming pool if we were on normal operations. And anything over 60 people, it's an additional $600. That's 10 times 60. The swimmers above the 60 mark pay $10 a person per month during the pool operation time.
Okay.
The past idea is just a brainstorm I had, and I think your price came in higher than I was thinking. But in other communities, you buy a monthly pass, and it gives you a checks and balance of people registering. If I was thinking more like $25 for a season for city residents, and say $40 for out-of-city residents. And then they would come get a card with a picture, have a little lanyard on it. You'd have 3 strikes and you're out thing. If the kids misbehave, they get a hole punch. They give the lifeguards an opportunity where they would have the information on each person that's at the pool, and then be able to, if they did misbehave, have their stuff, punch a hole through the card and make them accountable for the behavior. And at the same time, the parents and the child would have to sign an application to be a member. Folks that just come out on a daily basis would pay a $3 to $5 fee. But I thought it would be an opportunity to enhance revenue, put some discipline in the project, as well as maybe give the control back to the lifeguards versus the participants that are out there.
Well, let me say this. I certainly understand the thought process behind charging a fee. But I don't know that I can agree with that, because very much the reason that I went to the pool in the summer when I did go was because it didn't cost, and I didn't have anything else to do, and I could go to the pool and swim because nobody in the neighborhood had a pool. That was the only place that I could go swim. So if there is a way for us to put in some control, to monitor the discipline or something, I can totally agree with that. But to ask, it's a public pool,
But
so
they're paying money now to use it.
how much are they paying?
It's $1 a head after the first 60 people. Spalding County government pays us $600 a month. I think it's 600.
Okay, so let's just say you got 3 kids. You send them to the pool, that's $15 a day for your kids to go swimming. At the end of the week, that's a significant amount of money that you've paid. So from the business standpoint, I totally get that we're never going to recoup the cost of it because it's very expensive for us to open it. But for a lot of children, that's it. The city pool is the only option. And I don't know, there used to be the pool at the Elks Club, but there's not even a pool there anymore. So that is the only public swimming facility. So, it's kind of, even if we charge $3 or if we charge $7, we're not going to recoup this $80,000.
I was looking at it as $1 a day basis. If they come out 20, 25 times, it's $25 for a season.
But that's what I'm saying. At the end of the summer, the detriment to kids not being able to swim is not even going to equal to what we've invested to open the pool. That just keeps, so we're still going to spend the $80,000, but by increasing it, that just keeps another 20 or 30 kids from being able to use it because they can't afford. I know a lot of times when I was younger, I walked from Palace Street to the pool, and that was it. So you got those same kids walking, but now they got to come up with $3 before they can get in the pool. So I don't know that if we're saying that the dollar is you got to pay $3 or $4 to get this badge so that we can use that to monitor, I'm totally okay need to be able to keep track in the discipline aspect of it, but saying that you have to pay $25 and your parents have to come sign a paper, and I think that's going a little bit beyond.
Yes, the dog.
Oh, yeah,
When you play sports or do other activities, you gotta sign up, and your parents have to sign a form off, whether it's a.
And you know what happens
whether
a lot of times is a lot of kids don't get to participate because their parents won't sign the forms. So, I mean, I do think it's an issue without a doubt, and that's why I'm saying if there is a middle ground where we can, get some more control of the pool. I mean, I know we had a lot of discipline issues, but I think that is kind of one of the last things that we got left, because you already got it. I mean, I think you understand where I'm coming from.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out how do you put the responsibility on the parents to get their kids to.
Honey, when you figure that out, you go to the
And
school board and talk to them and everybody else in
Well,
Griffin to let
but
them
if you're
know.
not, but if you don't go on school activities, if you misbehave, you end up being expelled if you don't behave. And now
And you see how well that's working out. So I'm just saying, if the pool, what I remember from the pool is it was an opportunity for me to go swimming. And I mean, there was someone there who managed and whatever the case, but that was the only reason that I knew how to swim. I was in Griffin the whole time that I was a youth. Even when I was on the Griffin Gator swim team, that was still the only pool. So had it not been for that, I never would have had an opportunity to go swimming. So I don't want us to take that.
I think we decided some years ago that even the dollar per kid was just really wasn't getting much out of $1 for each child to come swimming. I'm like Ms. Flowers. That's where that was one of my first jobs out there at the swimming pool as a lifeguard, and a lot of those kids, that's the only pool they've ever been in, the only pool they ever get a chance to get in. They can't go to their neighbor's house and go swimming. If it's something that we're looking at doing, if we're going to open the swimming pool, if the dollar is the fee, so that we leave it like it's been in the past, I think I applaud Doug for his creativity in trying to come up with a way to address some of the behavioral issues at the swimming pool, but I don't think that's a clear answer. Getting the parents, a lot of kids don't live with their parents, getting a guardian to come over and sign, and they give you a false name, or there's just so much you can go through. I would just suggest if we're going to open the pool, we open it and deal with it the way we dealt with it in the past. If kids act up, you put them out, and we'll know who they are. They can't come back. Just buying a $25. I don't know a lot of those kids when I was over there that could afford a $25 pass up front to come and swim. So, like again, if you got 3 kids, that's $75 you got to pay, and that child may not get a chance to go to the swimming pool every day. So, I'd be against the pass issue. My feeling is we're going to subsidize other activities in the city, golf course, tennis courts, whatever it may be. If we're going to open a swimming pool, it's just the cost of doing business. It's something for the kids in this community that cannot go anywhere else. They can have a public facility that they can go to. That would be my.
In the past, it's been the $1 per day above the.
It's been back and
Yeah.
forth. When I first came, it was 50 cents, then it was $1, then it was nothing. I just need to know a couple things from y'all.
Well, I'm going to weigh in. I've thrown in the towel, so to speak. I've given up on this being a business proposition. So, but I strongly believe in at least $1 a day for the very reason, if it's free, it has no perceived value. If you have to pay something, then it has a lot of value. And I think a minimum charge like that teaches a very simple thing. It has value. So I'd hang in there for the $1, but I think Holberg has the real answer, but this is not a business thing. So
We have manager, like I said, I had a manager, I got 3.5 lifeguards that are certified, and I got 5 applications for a total of 8. The question is how are we gonna handle this? Because there's a couple issues involved here. If those people don't certify, I don't have enough lifeguards, I don't want you to hear through the newspaper that the pool didn't open up. So that's why we're here tonight. That's the first issue. The second issue is we have a swim team that utilizes the facility, and they need an answer if they're gonna be able to utilize this facility or have to go find some other location to swim because we're not, the pool's not gonna be open.
Does the swim
And the
team have any certified lifeguard?
Sir?
Yeah.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
If you please
Yeah.
state your name and address for the record, Mr. Horn.
We pop this together.
Hey,
Name and
somebody
address
is
for
My
the
name
calling
is David
for-
Horn. I live at 404 Max Road. I'm the president of the Griffin Gator Swim Team. Dr. Keller, Kenny, and Chris Walker was nice enough to contact me, and we met prior to this because they foresaw the inability to get lifeguards and that the pool may not be open. So we sat down, negotiated. He told me what, just like he had told y'all, they budgeted $80,000 a year. The cost is $25,000. They asked me for $25,000. We've been very, very good stewards of our parents' money. I don't have $25,000 to pay the city. So I went to my board, we talked, and so we clarified. I pay them for the month of May $600 at a minimum. But if I have more, I pay $10 a head. So if I have more than 60, it's $10 a head. That's for the month of May, June, and July. So it's more than, it's more than just $600 a month. We talked, and that number that I gave you is the number that I could afford, because I've already started the season. I was supposed to start last night, and unfortunately the pool is not quite ready, so I had to postpone a week. It's ready now, but there's just some touch-up stuff. But I postponed a week. But I've basically collected my registration. I have done everything that I have to do as far as the team goes. That's the number that I could afford to pay as a team for this year. And being late in the season, I'd already geared up, and they hit us with this, hey, man, y'all may not have a pool. I don't have any other options either. It's not like I can go down the street and go to this pool. Like Ms. Flowers said, that is the only option around. Gordon's not going to let me go to Gordon right now. They've already booked up their group, just like Barnesville has. The team has no other option at this point except not have a season. And I'm going to tell you, if that happens, a lot of people live in your district, and a lot of people live in your district. Miss Ward, your daughter's on the team, so
Yep.
gonna get a lot of calls. I'm gonna tell you, if for some reason the pool, the team's not being allowed. I'm not throwing that as a threat.
All
I'm
right,
just being
David,
honest.
How many people in your group would qualify as lifeguards?
Well, I have no lifeguards right now that are qualified. But I threw that out to my board as an option I called kids that qualified on my team and said, if our team pays for you to get registered, qualified, certified, but when I looked at the cost, it's just as much for me to make an offer and have the thing to myself as what my board thought than it would be for me to pay for 8 kids on my team to get registered, to be certified as lifeguards.
Right, well, you understand that it's the rule that we've got to have the 8 lifeguards.
No, I totally understand. And see, that's probably...
That's the hard part.
That's the problem that Brent's... Come May 30th, when he wants to open the pool, and they don't have their registration, what do? Do we postpone a week, or do we close it permanently?
Well,
That's
what
kind
I
of
was
the
gonna
question we're
ask.
kind of throwing out there.
What is the cost the same if it's only open for a month?
What's the cost? If just for the...
Because the 80,000 is for 2 months, right? So
And the
cost, if we maintain and operate the pool as we've done for the last 23 years I've been here, it costs you 80. If you don't have lifeguards and you don't have the interdepartmental transfers and all the associated activities that go along with that, it costs about $25,000 in chemicals and power and water.
okay.
If you reduced your, instead of 7 days a week, went down to 5 days a week.
Still got to run that pool 24/7. You got to pump that water free. Sir?
I'm talking about your labor cost and your personnel costs. Instead of 80,000, if you only have 4 lifeguards or 5 lifeguards, you work your schedule
anything's doable. I mean, I
Can
just
you
got.
not swim at
They
your own
don't,
risk?
well, you don't need like.
No, ma'am.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
What I wanna know
ma'am.
is, what-
I'll be glad for you to deal with that.
Disregard their complete.
Dr. Keller, if you don't have lifeguards as an expense, what's the total cost
How many of them slip in and
of
swim
keeping
at
the
their
pool?
own risk?
$25,000.
That's it.
That's it. Well, that's it. It's a lot of
I mean,
money, but that's it, yeah.
Let me ask you, David, have y'all, and I know that this is not your responsibility, it's the city's responsibility, but in all of the association of all the swim teams, the people like, I don't know what they do at Sun City, maybe they do swim at their own risk, but has anyone tried to get any recruitment, maybe out of the senior population that could serve as a lifeguard?
I don't need lifeguards for my operation.
Well, I understand you don't, yes.
I mean, for my team, I don't have to have, my coaches have to be certified.
We've recruited
Right,
everybody.
they have done diligence to
We've
try to
done
get
everything.
anybody to be a lifeguard.
We posted in 14 different publications in in multiple areas, and we just happened to have 5 applications that said they're going to get their certification. Well, that remains to be seen. The law of average says one of them isn't gonna pass. I mean, unless they're just really, astute
Rodney,
swimmers.
can't you do it?
Yeah, I asked Rodney if he wanted to come back out.
We'll set you up a wristband booth over there, and you could.
But
Just looking at this
I
sort of
mean,
logically.
you would be
sell
security
wristbands
too.
with their names on it, Rodney, and that could be their pool pass.
Looking at this logically, it seems to me it makes sense to let the Gators start using it, even if we don't find any lifeguards. And if we can find lifeguards, we can open it to public. It'd be silly not to let them use it, in my opinion. And doing our best to find lifeguards
I don't
for the
have a
public.
problem. I just need to let you all know what's going
makes
on so
sense.
you don't get lambasted when the pool doesn't open because we don't have staff to open it.
Pass the staff because if the swim team is over there swimming, and then we tell the neighborhood kids that they can't go swimming, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, that,
Well, somebody help me. For 23 years I've been able to pull this off, and this year I can't pull it off unless I got
You're gonna have
staff.
trouble, but what are you gonna tell? It's just the truth. We can't find lifeguards, you can't find lifeguards. You know?
we have a public town hall
Say we
meeting.
look hard.
Find lifeguards. Well, I hate.
I can tell you,
bars.
Miles has not recruited for me as hard as he recruited for lifeguards, I can promise you. I wish he could get an assistant superintendent of water wastewater, which I need one drastically, but Miles has worn out his tennis shoes and a set of tires on his truck because we didn't want to have to come to you and tell you all this. This ain't fun for me either. I started off in recreation, as they used to call it in commerce, I mean, that's right. I remember firing you too, okay?
What are we gonna do here? My ADD's kicking in.
So they have offered when they've got a new pump in, the pump gets running, they have offered us the ability to start practice. And we will practice until
Well,
somebody
you
says
know,
we can't
I
practice.
truly don't have a problem with that because I know the county operates parks so that associations can have their baseball teams, their football teams, et cetera.
And I pay the county for
but
being
I-
an association. as
Right,
well.
and
they got a facility.
right, I understand that, and we've been through that several years ago. But you get back to the fact that it is a public pool, but still, I don't know what the right answer is. I would be ashamed not to have a swim team.
Again, if you look at
I'm
other
not sitting down until y'all give me an answer, y'all.
I'm gonna throw out one more spitball just for sake. I understand Rodney and Ms. Flowers' concern, but other communities have to, when they did their splash park, it was chaos, so they couldn't control all the folks coming in, so they ended up getting a pass for the citizens. And the $25 fee was, so if you spread that over, if they come every day, it works out better than paying $1 a day fee. So it was
Yep.
maybe $20, but you end up, sometimes you reduce the demand if there's a cost there. And I don't think the idea of letting the county pay for the first 60 folks every day is a positive thing. I think that causes a lot of our chaos. So
They still get paid for it.
it's not about the money, it's about
All right,
we
Certainly it's about the money.
Right
You
now,
keep
it's
trying
really,
to change
it
the
really
money.
is not about the money.
It's
It's about we
about-
don't have lifeguards.
don't have
Yeah,
lifeguards.
that's
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
And so,
But I don't think that the fee for the senior center has caused anyone not to be able to come up with $25 to belong to the senior center. And I think that it was very criticized a lot at first, but I've not heard anything because if you wanna use a facility, you almost are gonna have to pay something. And, I'm kinda with Doug, a $25 fee's a one-time deal, and give them a pass, where, instead of $1 a day.
And so it works out, if you come out there every day, it works out better than $1 a day. And if you live outside the city of Griffin, then you pay a higher fee, a $40 fee or a $50 fee for the season. If you don't, then you pay a $2 a day or $1 a day, just like you pay now. And
Well, the question at hand right now is
Is
whether or not
whether
we
we gonna open up.
let them get in the pool.
Why don't we just proceed as normal as of
Yeah.
like tomorrow? With your understanding that if we don't have those lifeguards on May the 30th, the pool may not open to the public?
Absolutely.
I've told Mr. Horn that May the 30th, if we don't open to the public, we may have to come back to him with another agreement for the swim team. Rather than the 600 a month, we'll consider 6,000 or nothing or whatever, but maybe we'll come back to you at the end of the month with some more information.
Because at this point, we've already invested the chemical. Well, I mean, so it's not, the
No,
pool is,
we buy them on a weekly basis, but I just needed some help from y'all to let you know, felt like we owed it to you, to let you know what's
Right.
really going on.
Well, I just think we need to commit to let them start. If we
Alright.
can open to the public, we find lifeguards, we open to the public.
and if you have to reduce the number of hours it's open because of your limitation number of lifeguards or the number of days a
Probably
week.
if I wait till the 30th, I'm probably gonna lose a couple of those people because they're gonna go find summer employment. So,
Yeah.
just because I have 3.5 now doesn't mean I'm gonna have 3.5 plus
How many do
5.
you have to have on a daily, on a
I
hourly
need
basis?
8 people. On a daily basis, we got 5 people working shifts, plus the pool manager. And the pool manager works 7 days a week for 2 months, and they understand
I
that.
think we can cut the number of hours, cut the number of days, and we may be able to get by with 6 or 5 lifeguards. I think that would solve that
Works for
problem.
me. I
Do
just.
you get a 5-day, you go Monday through Friday schedule and cut Saturday,
no.
Sunday, or
Why would you
Tuesday-
cut the weekend?
Yeah,
Or
on the
Tuesday,
swim.
Sunday,
Right.
or Wednesday, you
You open with what you've got.
You
for-
figure out a schedule based on what lifeguards you have and work a schedule that way.
$1 per person.
Well, I can't start until I get at least 6 lifeguards. I can't go with 3.5 right now, is what I'm
From-
telling
I
you.
would say a half a lifeguard.
Do you need any action, Mr.
The
City?
part-time on weekends.
oh,
All right,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm with, our city manager. Let's operate, let's start like we're gonna, feel our concerns.
next week.
Good.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
moving on. Thank you, Mr. Horn. Thank you, Dr. Keller. Item 20, consider approval of section,
I move we approve.
and a motion
I
approved by
second.
Mr. Morris, second by Mr. Todd. Any discussion on the section
We have to
5311
do
Public
it.
Transportation Service Agreement for operation of the Three Rivers Regional Transportation System for the term July 1/15 through June 30/16 in the amount of $6,650. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0, thank you. Item 21, consider cancellation of
I
July
move we
14th,
cancel.
15th City Commission regular scheduled meeting. Mr. Marr, Ms. Ward made a second. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand.
Is this the time of the VA deal?
Yes, ma'am. In June, we're not gonna have normally we have the 4th June meeting because of GMA, but
Yeah.
there's no GMA conflict. We'll
Right.
move the conflict to the end. All right. Got through that one tonight. Mr. City Manager, any comments, questions, or concerns that we need to
Reminder
address?
that we meet with Spalding County on Monday, May the 18th at 4 o'clock for SPLOST. And I'm kinda under the assumption that our projects are gonna remain basically the same. However, I won't know details until they tell us on that Monday what the, amount that they are projecting and then what our percentage will be. But under the assumption that the, amounts are the same, our projects may take a little tweaking because obviously our debt service is a little different now than it was a year ago. So there may be a little tweaking, but hopefully we'll go to them and tell them our projects remain essentially the same if that's the pleasure of the board. We'll be getting the budget out to you the first part of next week. Our next meeting 2 weeks from today will be a workshop on the budget, and we'll get that out to you, hopefully on Monday, so that you've got a good week to digest that information.
You will
And
do a summary.
Ma'am?
You will do your summary.
Yes, ma'am, there'll be a summary, about 10 pages, but that's
Okay.
about as summary
sorry, two quickies. Don't forget all the Memorial Day festivities. On the 24th, that Sunday, we're doing our KIA, and we have about 30 veterans and a nice program. And Memorial Day, we're dedicating the Global War on Terror Monument at 11 o'clock Memorial Day. So please, all of you come out, hopefully both of those, and celebrate Memorial Day and men and women who died.
Right. If there is one thing about Griffin, it is a patriotic city, so I think that we will have great attendance at those events. That's it.
No comment.
Ms. Ward? Just want to thank staff for all their hard work and commitment,
Yes.
Chief Heaton, a good team and everything. and
Awesome police
to
department.
everybody else, we're proud of you. Appreciate you this week. And with that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion with,
Second.
Mr.
Yes,
McCord
sir.
made